Now let me say this pertaining to the other case where the female streamed live the events of her fiance, boyfriend, whatever the case may be, placed it on Facebook. I am somewhat disturbed about that whole situation. I'm going to briefly touch upon it here, but I'm going to deal with it in the whole. I got to take that to the whole. And the reason why I have to take that to the whole is there are some issues that I want to point out to y'all that I've been pretty much telling y'all for some time. I mean, I'm baffled as to how a female can sit with her fiance or her boyfriend dying next to her, and instead of we hearing her in a recording fussing and arguing with an officer to get the ambulance, call some help, he's dying, she just films this stuff and places it on Facebook. That's somewhat troubling to me. And what's even more troubling is the Afro-American Negro men who applaud this female as a hero. Now, that's as far as I'm going to go on that particular incident, because I'm going to take that to the whole, because there's a lot in that. The other day when I seen the footage of this young male's mother and this female standing side by side, I was basically taken aback, because I'm not really gathering why the mother is not fussing with this female, telling her, why wasn't you calling for help instead of filming this to place it on Facebook, documenting everything that was happening just in case later on down the line, because you know there's going to be a civil suit. You already know this. But like I said, I'm gonna deal with that in the hole, and y'all know what it is by now. If you want this rabbit hole, send me email, send you the link. I believe it's rabbit hole 76. And I'm gonna deal with that entire situation in the hole. I gotta take that to the hole. Now in this Alton Sterling situation, and we all have seen it, we've seen the footage, we hear the cries, everybody's got their opinion. And let me say this, because I know that there are going to be some people who's going to misinterpret what I'm saying in this video. Let me say this up front. This was indeed a tragedy. It's really a sad case when you look at this man and how he lost his life. It's completely sad. So I don't need you Negroes coming to my comment thread trying to say, well, you know, you're just being disrespectful of a dead man. No, I'm being fair and balanced, like I've told y'all in many of my videos that I am. So we're going to look at this Alton Sterling situation, and I'm going to point out to y'all in this video the issue that black men don't want to address pertaining not only Sterling, but some of these other high-profile cases. I'm going to point this out to y'all in this video. Now, the first thing that, and this is going to be tough. I'm telling y'all now, a lot of y'all not going to like this. These are going to be some hard truths, but y'all going to have to face them. And if you follow my videos, you know that I am not a fan of Martin Luther King. I don't subscribe to anything, you know, any of the tenets of nonviolent direct action or that buffoonery, you know, and I've been very thorough in my disagreement with Dr. Martin Luther King, very thorough. But being fair and balanced, I have to come back and say there's one thing about their movement that I actually have to applaud, centers around Rosa Parks, and we're familiar with the history. We know it. I mean, we've studied it. We've read about it. Some of you haven't, because some of you don't know that Rosa Parks was not the first woman who did not want to give up her seat on the bus. The first female who actually refused to remove and get up and allow a white person to have her seat was I believe she was 17 years old, 17-year-old black female. She was pregnant, not married, out of wedlock. Dr. King and the other leaders of the civil rights movement said, listen, we can't use her because we can't call America or call this policy immoral and talk about the hypocrisy when the face of our movement will be a black female who's pregnant out of wedlock. We just can't use her. When Rosa Parks decided she wasn't going to give up her seat, they decided we have a female that we can use as the face of the movement. We have a woman who's working mother, outstanding in the community, church-going woman. So yeah, we can use her. So she became the face of the Montgomery bus boycott. What am I saying? When you look at these Negroes, these Black Lives Matter Negroes, I mean, their entire movement completely makes no sense. And I'm gonna deal with that in another video that I'm putting on my other channel, but I'm gonna touch upon it here in this video because it's relevant. But their movement makes no sense. When you listen to the Negroes who chant Black Lives Matter, then you take a panoramic view of the individuals that they are using as the face of their movement. It punches holes in their argument. And when you try to explain this to the Negro, again, like I keep trying to tell y'all, black men are not the sharpest knife in the drawer, and they're not the brightest bulb on the tree. So when you sit them down and you tell them, listen, man, the individuals that y'all are using as the face of your movement contradict your movement. And I know some of y'all wondering what I'm talking about, so I'm gonna just give you a few examples. And like I told you, it's gonna be tough, but it is what it is. Freddie Gray, the morning that he came in contact with those police, he broke off and ran. We know the story. We know why he ran. He was known by those officers as a dope dealer. Freddie Gray sold dope. When he made eye contact with those cops, he had dope on him. That's why he ran. The cops, knowing that he is a known dope dealer, immediately wonders, well, why is he running? He must have dope on him. So they took off after him, which is, I mean, it's basic policing. It's common sense. Why else would you run if you haven't done anything? But Black Lives Matter takes Freddie Gray and they have deified him. A dope dealer who sold dope to black people. Michael Brown, a brute. We've seen the footage. We've seen him gaffling those, what they would say are cigars, and as a cigar aficionado, I'm completely offended by the fact they would call that garbage cigars. But we seen what he was doing in that store. He was a bully. He was a brute. That's what Michael Brown was. Eric Garner, according to his own wife, Eric Garner was a lazy bum. Now, I didn't say that. She said that. After his death, She done a round on the Sunday morning political talk shows, and she said out of her own mouth, Eric was lazy. He was a bum. Trayvon Martin, a young thug. Again, I'm not saying this. His mama said that. And I know y'all wonder, well, when did his mother say that? Well, she kicked him out the house on numerous occasions because he would not listen to her. She had completely lost control of the boy. The last time she kicked him out the house, he went to stay with the daddy who was staying with the girlfriend, and we know how that story ended. But these are the individuals that your Black Lives Matter use as the face of their movement. This is the reason why their movement makes no sense. I mean, you don't really have to dig deep beneath the surface. You don't have to pull back many layers of the onion to see the hypocrisy in this Black Lives Matter buffoonery. And if you really wanted to get in depth, all you then would have to include, again, which they don't want to talk about, is the rate of black on black homicides, the rate of black on black abortion. I mean, how in the world are you going to tell me that black women are going to march in a Black Lives Matter rally and they lead the nation in abortions? I mean, it defies logic. But this is what we have. This is the reason why people don't take your movement serious. And again, I don't agree with the civil rights movement. I don't agree with Martin Luther King. But their marches and their demonstrations was always tied to public policy, civil rights bill, the passing of the Civil Rights Act. They connected their marches and their rallies to legislation. They weren't just running around shouting people down, Black Lives Matter. That means nothing. But this is what y'all have. This is the reason why it is so comical when you look at these Negroes. And I know y'all wondering, well, okay, what about Alton Sterling? What has that got to do with him? And you mentioned all these other guys, and I think you were disrespecting. No, I'm not disrespectful. I'm just merely stating the case. Each one of these cases was a tragedy. But what we cannot do, if we're going to be fair and balanced, what we cannot do is ignore the role that these individuals played in their own demise. You've got to include that. If you don't include that, you're not fair and balanced. If you don't include that, then you're not being authentic. And that goes back to what I told y'all in my other video, the doctrine of victimization and the cult of anti-intellectualism. Because if you ask the Negro, if when those cops approached Alton Sterling and told him to get on the ground, and he got on the ground, would he have stood this shot? Now, the cult of anti-intellectualism would force the Negro to say yes, because it fits the narrative. He's a victim. So he has to believe that no matter what that guy done, they would have shot him because he's black and therefore he's a victim. Now, the logically thinking person would have said no. If he complied with the demands of the officers, they were able to search him, secure him, and know that he is no longer a threat to them or anybody else, then we can talk about why we're here. We can discuss, the phone call that we received, you got a gun, we can discuss all of that. But first thing first, get on the ground, let's secure the scene. Let's secure you for your safety and our safety. But now when they telling him get on the ground, he's arguing with them. It's the same with Eric Garner. When they told Eric Garner, you're under arrest, and they went to put their hands on him, he smacked their hands away. Get your hands off me.